Hey YouTubers, this is George from Vinyl Rescue. I thought I would take the opportunity now that I have both the Technics SL-B2 and the SL-D2 together. This SL-B2 is the one I just recently restored and is up for sale right now. And the SL-D2 is the one that I bought off of, I think it's either Goodwill or eBay. I can't remember at this point. Refurbished it a couple of years ago. It's been a great turntable. I want to talk about the differences. They both came out about the same time, 1979. The SL-B2 at the time was going for about $130, and at today's cost, that would be about $606. And the SL-D2 in 1979 cost $150 and now would cost $169 if it was being built today with today's dollars. Just a comparison, how things have changed over the years. The biggest differences are, you can see a little bit of the front control panel is different. Platter's pretty much the same, except uh, the B2, meaning B for belt drive, D for direct drive. Tone arms are slightly different. The gimbal part is different on the tone arm there. You can see that. The counterweights and the anti-skate are a little different. The cueing levers are slightly different. The strobe, this is just illuminated. This is illuminated, but it's a little different. You can see that. They're both semi-automatic, which means you have to lift the tone arm and take it over to the platter or to the beginning of the LP to get started. Uh, this is a printout from Vinyl Engine, and I'll note the changes. The wow and flutter on the B2 is 0.045 WRMS. The rumble is negative 70 dB. Now, as I remember researching turntables back when I was stationed in Okinawa back in 81, 82, I was going through all this trying to figure out, which components to get the best. And I found out turntables with the highest number of negative dB was actually better, which means they're quieter. So the B2 is negative 70 and the D2 is negative 75 dB. So, and the wow and flutter is 0.03%, which is just slightly better. Now, overall, you're probably never going to really hear the difference between the two. A lot of people prefer direct drives over belt drives. There's actually not much of a sound difference that you're going to hear if they're both maintained and tuned properly. Yeah, belt drive, you have to change a belt every once in a while depending on usage and age of the belt. Direct drives, you just keep the motor serviced and the spindle oiled up, and it'll probably run forever. So, and another difference on these turntables is the weight. The B2 converted over to US pounds is 9.9 pounds, and the D2 is 15.2 pounds. So yeah, there is a difference um, in the plinth and the overall, because the D2 is a little bit more heavier duty turntable. Um, as you can see, my D2, I've never polished up the lid. The tabs were never broken off. This B2 was busted, so I had to put tabs on them. It's been polished up, so you can see the difference between not polished and polished. I'll get around to it one of these days, maybe, but this is in my personal collection. Who knows? Maybe someday I'll elect to sell it, so I can't keep everything forever. So their features are very similar, other than being a belt driven and a direct drive. Um, Pretty much they operate the same way. You got to pick up the tone arm, whether it's going like this and then moving it over and then dropping it down. Do it on the same. They both have stop buttons. They both have speed adjustment and also a pitch adjustment wheel here, so you can keep your speed consistent on either 33 or 45. So overall, I just wanted to give a little comparison of the two since I had them together, made at the same time, just made a little differently, and they're both driven differently. Belt drive, direct drive. Uh, what's my preference? Maybe just a D2 a little bit, but there's nothing wrong with a good belt drive if it's maintained properly. You gotta maintain a direct drive just as much. It may not take as much because you gotta change the belt every once in a while, maybe every few years, depending on how much you spend an album. Spend albums over the time. So, um, but overall, this is their differences. And maybe what I'll do is I'll pop up these specifications on the screen for each one, so you can see the comparison between the two. Plus, you can go to Vinyl Engine and look up both of these, get the same thing. Both these turntables have been modified with external RCA jacks and ground posts and new power cords. But those are of my choosing and the modifications that I do when I restore turntables. So anyway, if you like the content of my video, please subscribe, like, and share with other like-minded YouTubers who are into vintage turntables or may be interested. Currently, today is May 30th, 2025, and this SL-B2 is currently still up for sale for $260. You can contact me through my Facebook page or here on YouTube. And thank you for stopping by, and long live vinyl.